How is it that a TV program made in the late 1980s in Japan gets over 100,000 views every day on one of the smallest TV channels in England? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain the unexpected popularity of Japanese TV in the UK, from hated reboots to Chris Kamara with a short detour to Fortnite. Hi everyone, I'm Ghost from Silent. Everything's shut down, so I've got a lot of time, so expect a lot of like really weird videos coming out from me, just about whatever I can think of. And what I'm talking about here indirectly led to Road To Hokkaido anyway. It's kind of like a backstory sort of thing. You probably just want to watch the video, so let's go. So let's first start off with the show that started it all, which is Takeshi's Castle. And the story starts, as far as I know, in 1986 with a Japanese comedian called Takeshi, and you can probably tell where this is going. But at the time, he was one of the most well-known TV show hosts in Japan, and he would go on to be a successful film director and actor. And here's the link to Fortnite. He interestingly appeared in the 2000 film Battle Royale that went on to inspire Fortnite, so very small link with what I'm talking about here. So he created a show called Takeshi's Castle, which was a show where a group of contestants had to go through an obstacle course in order to try and win a prize at the end of the show. There are also comedy sequences in between, sort of making it quite a funny obstacle show instead of the more serious things like Total Wipeout in the UK. It was a very informal kind of show, and it was very random as well, so like the people who got to the end could be literally your 80-year-old grandma or someone like that. You know, some of the obstacles included the classic obstacle karaoke, so that sort of gives you an idea of what kind of random stuff it had. And it ended in 1990, but it was successful enough to bring worldwide attention. The version that was shown in England was made in 2002 by a TV network called Challenge, which is basically like, it's way down on the rankings, and it doesn't really make its own TV shows, it just reboots of ones. But they redubbed it and everything like that, and it was an instant hit, and it still is. You know, this show was made in 2002, I was born in 2002, it was popular when I was younger, and it's still popular now. You know, it's shown all throughout the day from like 12 till 4, and then shown about the 5 o'clock slot as well. So why is it popular? That's like the main thing about Takeshi's Castle. Well, it kind of incorporates culture, well, sort of. Takeshi's Castle is always more popular in countries where it keeps its own name, like in England or Thailand, calling it something stupid like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, and keeping the comedy sequences but trying to put them in English. You know, it's not going to work, and it didn't work in the USA. Also, though some names were changed in the English version, you know, if you look at the theme tune, and also if you look at the general vibe of the show, it's clearly Japanese, whereas, you know, America's kind of a bit infamous for changing stuff that they don't think Americans will understand. So of course, obstacle courses is another reason why it's really popular. And you know, like every country, obstacle courses are really popular in the UK. But since Total Wipeout ended, the UK has only had Ninja Warrior UK, which only started in 2015. I'll get to Ninja Warrior later, don't worry. So Takeshi's Castle got popular because there's no other option apart from to watch this watch Challenge and watch the shows on there. And of course, if Takeshi's Castle is on all the time, it's going to be more popular. And I mean, the only other option is Total Wipeout USA, and who wants to watch that? I mean, to see how desperate channels are for these sort of shows, a different channel bought the Thailand version of Takeshi's Castle for some reason, and yeah, so it just shows how popular it is. Is that a channel bought not the original, they bought a redoing of the original and made it in the UK. And the third thing is that it was really different, and it had a weird assortment of obstacle courses and just of everything, you know, the sumo one and everything like that. And of course, the announcer was very iconic as well. He was a man called Craig Charles, and he had catchphrases like "new ribs please" whenever someone used to fall on one of the stones. It doesn't sound funny, but you know, back when you're a 10-year-old watching this, it is quite funny. And everyone liked him so much that when they redid it and did like an updated version, which included one of the original Japanese stars, Hayato Tani, and they changed the announcers to a couple of children's TV presenters who were a bit more popular, you know, everyone hated it. I remember watching it, I'm thinking, this is not the same without Craig Charles on it, it's not right. And yeah, so Takeshi's Castle was the first main bit of Japanese TV in England, I think, but it paved the way for Ninja Warrior, which was called Sasuke in Japan back when it was first released. Of course they changed it because America changed the name. And it's also an obstacle course show. I mean, wow, UK must love obstacle courses, and clearly America do as well. But it's different because it sort of passed through the US to get here. But of course, Challenge again had this show, and still do. And they had it because, of course, Takeshi's Castle was popular. Like, well, why don't we buy this one as well? In my opinion, it's just as popular as Takeshi's Castle, and it spawned something else which have had a bigger influence on TV in the UK. But I'll explain why it has a different appeal and why it has iconic obstacles. If you see something like the warped wall or the salmon ladder, and then you look at all these obstacles that look impossible, and then you realise that they actually are impossible, it makes it even more interesting when someone finally manages to beat it. You know, after 3 years where they've all just fallen off and not even got close. When some random fisherman manages to finally beat the whole obstacle course, it's like, wow. And of course it shows how hard it is that only 5 people have ever beaten the obstacle course, and that is something that carried over to the UK version when it got made. Something that was really good about Ninja Warrior is that they were memorable characters, from firefighters to petrol station workers. The fact that there were recurring contestants every time that you recognised, and you began to learn, that made it more tense and you felt more involved in the programme. Especially where you had the case where a legend had to retire because of an eye problem, and it was just like where he kept on struggling and he couldn't do it, and it was just like, oh, you felt bad for him. Or someone finally wins after about 5 years of trying and training, and then their course built in their back garden gets destroyed by a tsunami or stuff like that. It just like made you feel really involved in that sort of thing. And yeah, so that's oh yeah, eventually a UK version got made, which was kind of based on the US version, but it was the final thing was still called Mount Midoriyama, which I thought was quite good, with presenters Ben Shepherd, Rochelle Humes and Chris Kamara. They're all kind of famous people. One was a football player who's well known for thinking a person got subbed off when he actually didn't, but yeah. And it drew its own recurring contestants, and it sort of built its own sort of reputation. It's already had 5 series. I think they're going to do a new one this year. Yeah, so anime. Unfortunately I have to talk about anime. You know, you got Pokemon. I mean, everyone likes Pokemon, don't they? I mean, I still do, so, but that's the only it. Is it really an anime? Probably. Well, I mean, yeah, technically. You know, you got Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh, all very popular in the UK, but not any more so than anywhere else, you know. But there is one thing I want to mention about anime, is that I know it's a film, but Spirited Away, made by studio thing I can't pronounce, was very popular, very, very popular in the UK. I mean, very, very popular. Everyone knows it, everyone's heard of it. And also Howl's Moving Castle is an anime film made by the same company, which is based off a British book. It's kind of creates like a sort of a British Japanese anime, which is really weird because all the characters got British accents, and it's based off a British book. It's really good, I feel like, because it's like it's just a really good film. So that's like really off topic, but I thought I'd better mention that. And yeah, we're done. And yeah, thanks for watching everyone for this really, really random video. Hopefully you enjoyed. You know, I bet this gets like no views, but I mean, I enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed watching it, it's like the Google Translate one, you know, sometimes you lose your mind and you just have to create a random video. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone. My Ada's coming soon. I just can't be bothered to do it at the moment, to be honest. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.